scrolling on your phone all day, stop for a second and do this routine with me. This routine will keep your fingers and hands healthy, strong, and mobilized. Starting with windshield wipers with our thumbs. Just like the name says, we're gonna mimic the movement of a windshield wiper. Now we're gonna do a really satisfying stretch. Tuck that thumb in, keeping your forearms straight. Point your hand downward. You're gonna feel the stretch along your thumb, down to your wrist. This is what it looks from the side view. Remember to keep that forearm straight. Now this is my go-to. We're simply gonna touch our thumb with each one of our fingers. Next is the tabletop. We're gonna bend our hand at the knuckle. This is a gentle way to build strength in our hands. After 10 of those, we're gonna close the flap fully, making a fist with our hands. Now let's work on that flexibility. These are prayer bends. We're just gonna go from side to side. Now let's make a claw with both hands, release and come back. And finally, let's end with some piano fingers. Shake them off and have
On average, we look down 344 times a day. And how many times do you look up during the day? Probably never. So I like to do this at the end of a long day where I'm looking down a lot. It helps get neck extension back in those joints.
How do I safely strengthen my neck without causing problems? We're going to show you guys exercise that helps with forward head posture and neck pain and headaches. So we're going to work on the deep cervical flexors. So these are the muscles that run right next to the front of our spine. So it'll be behind our throat, behind our esophagus, but in front of the spine. So you want this to fill the gap in the back of your curvature of your neck, and you want a normal curvature. So you don't want it to be forcing curve. And then you're going to nod just a little bit. Hold that for 6 seconds. And relax. And you're going to find that you're weak. You're going to shake a little bit. Don't do this. You want to just nod. The chin comes down and then unwind. Review the next part of this exercise. And so you want to do, if you did 6 of the other one, you'd want to do 6 of this. And we're going to now work the muscles in the back of the neck to help to restore that normal curvature and the strength in our neck. Instead of the towel roll being here, you're sliding it out so it's behind your skull for neutral position. So our heads shouldn't be tilted down and it shouldn't be tilted back. We want it to be like nice and neutral. Now what I'm going to do is just gently, I'm just pushing my head straight down into that towel. So the towel is like on the back of my skull. So again, you're going to push and hold for 6 seconds. Don't push hard, just gently, just working those muscles. Repeat it 6 times. Try this for...
If you have a tight neck, I'm gonna show you 3 moves to help you loosen it up right. It's gonna activate all these little muscles around your spine to lengthen your spine. Now the second piece is though, as we press our head up, don't shrug like this, okay? So keep your shoulders down, let them relax, or even drive your fingertips towards the ground while you do these movements. Now, the first one is simply going to be bringing your ear towards your opposite shoulder, or toward your shoulder, and going back and forth like this. Now the big thing here though is a lot of people, what they'll do is they'll cave their ear towards their shoulder instead of thinking about lifting their head while they cave. So instead of caving the ear down like this, I want you to think about lifting the side of your face toward the sky. Ooh, you're gonna feel a much better stretch coming all the way down into the shoulder as you lift your face to the sky rather than collapse your ear to your shoulder, okay? So let's go back and forth like this. You wanna do this one for about 1 minute. Again, lifting the face toward the sky, slow and controlled. All right, now the next move is going to be bringing your chin towards your chest and then looking up at the sky. So you're gonna bring your chin towards your chest like this. And again, instead of thinking about chin face down, think about lifting the back of your head up. That lift right there is gonna provide all the relief in the neck. And then as you push here, face toward the sky, but check out this one detail, close your mouth, okay? If you keep your mouth open, no stretch. Keep your mouth closed, ooh, deep stretch all the way into the throat, okay? So back and forth here. You can do this for 1 minute as well. Always thinking tall, 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 length, length, length. Now the last one is gonna be twisting. So again, tall length. Now you're going to look over your shoulder and what you're gonna feel is a nice stretch coming all the way through here and then switch sides, slow and controlled. and a nice stretch coming all the way through here. So you can go back and forth, just like we did on the other stretches, and you can do this for 1 minute each. So that's 3 minutes, 1 minute side to side.
If you only have time to do 3 exercises to keep your neck healthy, strong, and ideally pain-free, these are the 3 exercises that I would prioritize, and you could do them all right now with no equipment. Now, I know this is going to be a little exaggerated, but a lot of us spend a lot of time in this position right now. Sitting up nice and tall, all you're going to do is bring your chin straight backwards until you start to give yourself a little bit of a double chin here and start to feel a little bit of a stretch back here. Once you feel that stretch, you're going to hold about a second and then relax. You're going to repeat that about 10 to 15 times. This second exercise will build off that first one, but you'll do it laying on your back. You still start by bringing your chin straight backwards, but once you do, you gently lift your head off the floor. This will really start to build the strength in the front of your neck, but if you've never done it before, this can be extremely difficult. Try to hold your head off the ground about 2 to 3 seconds and repeat this for maybe just 2 sets of 5. The third exercise addresses the muscles of the back and shoulders because this.
If you have a pain in your neck that goes down into your shoulder and even your arm, here are 3 great things for you. The first exercise you're going to do is called a chin tuck. What I'm trying to do is push my face back without my shoulders getting too far forward. Go as far as you can backwards with your chin, trying to keep your face level. If it's too painful, ease up. Try and work into this range of motion as best you can until you can get all the way back. The next exercise is just a gentle stretch. So what I'm gonna do is take my hand, put it behind my back on the side that's affected, and then I'm just going to tip my head and gently pull it across. You can also do this looking up and looking down to get a 3-way stretch through the neck and the upper shoulder muscles. Lastly is a nerve floss. What I'm gonna do is take my affected arm, bring it up, and tilt my hand towards my head and my head away. Then I'm gonna do the opposite and take my hand out and down and head towards my hand. I'm gonna go back and forth, trying to keep my shoulder down as I go through this movement. You can also increase this by keeping your hand in one position and just moving your neck, or keeping your neck in one position and just moving your hand. You're gonna feel a really good stretch through your arm. You don't want this to be too intense. If you found these helpful, DM to your friends.